around. Uh, yeah, none of us have actually seen it, but we were talking about F9 and how it's like. I mean, I guess this is a spoiler, like Star Trek.
I think it's more like Star
Well,
Wars.
at this point now, it is the number of movies it has is basically
No,
a
they
Star
literally
Trek
go
franchise.
into fucking space, is what I'm
They'll
saying.
go into space, and they will have that family theme, but it'll be more about exploding stuff than
Than
having
science.
these
I don't know, man.
philosophical conversations.
These recent Star Trek movies were kind of about blowing stuff up, you know?
The Abrams ones, yeah.
Well, Beyond
they
wasn't
were
bad.
J.J. Abrams' pitches for his Star Wars trilogy that he wanted to make.
Right.
And he still didn't even get to do that.
So yeah, welcome to the
No,
pre-show,
not
everyone.
really.
Thank you for hanging out. Man, see, now I forget where I sent this. I'll just post it there. If it's posted twice, sorry. Anyway, this is the part of the show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. Lots to go over this week. Segment 1, I got a great thing for segment 1. Very excited to talk about that. So, man, we should really just get into it. Some Dark Ages shit. We got a preview of the last issue of the Other History of the DC Universe. There's a new X-Force book on the way we'll mention.
Is this the one with Liefeld?
Yup. I know it's your favorite. I know he's your favorite.
He's not my favorite.
Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino return to Green Arrow. Kind of.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, Last Annihilation, new Spider-Man stuff, and then quick Hellfire Gala, which probably will not be too quick. And then Heroes Return, and then Loki, and then Food News, and then huge moment of destruction. Lots of Transformers news this week to get into. That's why I got so many images I hadn't gotten up, man. It's just, and then 2 comics over there, and then our top 3, which was brilliant this week. It was so good. Anything else? No, of course not, because we don't have time for that. Seriously, though, nobody's got anything.
Well, before we start, Adam, have you seen any of the Godzilla Singular Point?
No, I have not.
Yeah, okay. I saw that it was on, and I was gonna actually put it on, but no, I got busy doing it.
It's really good, but you have to take your time and really pay attention to it.
Yeah, so
a lot of Easter eggs.
Let's get.
If you're desperate for one of us to contribute something, they did show Abomination in the Shang-Chi trailer. So
yeah, they did, and he's comic accurate. He's got the funny looking.
Yeah, he has his stupid Swamp Man frills. Yeah,
I don't even know what to think about that, man. Honestly, I don't even know what to think about that. But I don't think we should comment on that until.
Why not? He's probably not going to be a main character at all.
Well, he's obviously just like wrestling with.
It looks like he looks like he's in like a fighting ring, and I guess that's what he's doing nowadays.
Probably what we see in the trailer is what he'll be doing in the whole movie. That'll probably be about it.
It doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah, I don't think we have any extra context to wait for here.
Yeah. Can I say that the MCU has finally gotten to a place where it's referencing itself and not the comics? And I don't think that's a good thing. Just saying.
We already passed that threshold, though. Last year with the Spider-Man movie, they were making callbacks to people who haven't appeared since the Iron Man movie.
Exactly.
Well, you have to realize, though, Gomer, that the MCU has a 10-year continuity in and of itself.
Yeah, I know.
It's at that Ultimate Comics part where it's like its own thing now.
Really, if you examine comics from a certain angle, Marvel is on a constant sort of 10-year cycle. You know what I mean? If you really look at comics from that perspective,
DC's on a 5-year cycle.
Yeah, it seems like a 2.5 year cycle, really.
DC was like 20 and then 10 and then 7 years.
I mean,
it's been like 5 years.
Yeah, we had like the Golden Age in the 40s, the Lost Age in the 50s, the Silver Age in the 60s. We started up the Bronze Age towards the middle of the 70s. So the Silver Age was a bit long in the tooth there.
Well, and it was because of the Vietnam War. Because they all kind of patch all those together because of the overarching message that most of those books had during that time. Because it was more than just Vietnam during the 60s. There was a lot of history going on. And that's really when comics were coming into their own in terms of them being relevant to, socio-political and things like that sort of issue. So that's a good point, though, Taylor. That generation, that age, so to speak, lasted longer because it was more important. I think that's historically in the context of comics, especially in this conversation, I think that's a poignant thing. But yeah, man, that's a whole nother show, isn't it? Jesus,
It could
we
be,
could really get into that. But let's get into this.
Bunch of goddamn nerds.
It's my favorite.
Oh, John Goodman, how you have fallen to being a finger puppet on a gambling app.
I mean, good for him.
I do hate that commercial, but let's not besmirch the good name of John Goodman. You know,
Good for him, man, to get a paid gig. They're probably paying him $1 million to talk into a phone for 30 minutes. Greetings, geeks! Welcome back to another episode of This Geek in Comics, our Geeky's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Host Gomer, Adam Normal, Taylor, gentlemen. Pre-show went well. Bodes well for the rest of the show. What you guys do this week? Anything fun? Anything cool?
Man, I've been playing X-Men Legends 2 all weekend.
Fun.
oh shit.
Yeah, I need one
Dope
of you guys
game,
to come
man.
over and help me.
Same
Was that
screen.
the one where you could play as like Juggernaut and Magneto and stuff?
Yes.
On-
Yeah,
yes,
Yeah,
that was the best one.
It was the best one. It was the best one.
Ah,
Anything else? What else?
Man, that is a blast from the past. I haven't thought about that game
I know.
in years.
I have a copy somewhere. I'm not sure which console.
You know what
I
my
think it came
favorite like comic book related game from my childhood was though?
Oh,
Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
That's a good one,
dude,
too.
That game is so much fun.
It's
Oh,
like GTA, but you're the
Yep.
Hulk, and it's
Yep,
awesome.
you get the Hulk hands, with the cars.
Yes.
Whoever made the Incredible Hulk movie definitely played that game first,
Right.
because they do a lot of the stuff from that game in that
Yeah.
movie.
It gets like the boxing gloves. Dave.
Mhm.
just my favorite one was the old coin arcade smash up. With like
That's a good
Captain
one
America.
too. The X-Men
The
arcade
Avengers.
It was. I was thinking the X-Men arcade.
There were
That was-
two of them. There was an Avengers and
there
an
was an
X-Men.
X-Men and an Avengers, but I always played the Pizza Hut where I lived at the time had the Avengers one, and it was always like Captain America. It was like the villain come up, "You'll never escape," and Captain America was like, "You'll be the one escaping."
My favorite one of those, aside from
Welcome to Die. That was the
aside
X-Men
from-
one, though.
aside from the famous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, of course.
Oh, Turtles in Time.
That was a
or
great
Smash
one.
Up.
Yeah,
They had a Dungeons and Dragons one that was so
Ooh.
rad, dude.
That's
It was
cool.
Really.
how did that one play?
Just the same as the other ones,
Oh, okay.
Side
Just
scroller,
to beat 'em up?
basically. Yeah,
You know,
Okay.
beat 'em up that's better than they had any right to be was the Simpsons one.
That one
dude,
was
that-
surprisingly good.
No,
A
man.
lot of the Simpsons clone games are a lot better than they deserve to be. Like that hit and run game, it's
The
basically
driving game.
Simpsons GTA.
Yes.
But damn, that is a great game.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
it is.
It's so good.
Man, what we ought to do is we ought to set up a Patreon tier where we can play a 4-player game and stream it for people.
We probably could do that. My favorite, and I'm going back, Spider-Man Atari 2600 and the first Batman game on the NES, the really hard one.
The one based on the movie?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
And I still have both of those carts, man. But that Spider-Man game was fucking revolutionary for Atari 2600. It sucked.
Now you got me curious to find
You know,
out
It was rad.
if there's a
Compared
port
to
to that
most-
Batman game.
Oh, I'm sure there
Compared to
is.
most other superheroes, Spider-Man actually has a pretty good video game pedigree because, like, the Spider-Man 2 game was really rad too. And,
on
I
console.
I actually had
on
I had
consoles. There was
I had
actually
this-
a PC version of that was the same title, came out at the same time, but was an on-rails piece of crap.
That
it was,
sucks.
It was. I got snookered into that, dude. I got suckered right into it.
That's awful.
Adam, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I had a Spider-Man Nintendo 64 game, which was awesome because it had the full 3D swinging, but
Oh,
not through a
nice.
whole city. It was just through a little 3D level of it. But man,
Yeah.
it had
But
all
it was
the
more
cool...
of a platformer, if I
It,
remember.
it was a lot more
Yeah.
of a platformer, but that was a great game.
Their sequel for that was actually on Game Boy Advance,
Hmm
and I remember
Yeah.
playing that Game Boy Advance version.
And
I
then
watched,
the
go ahead.
PS4 Spider-Man is one of the best games from this last generation, honestly.
and the Miles
Mhm.
Morales backup is just as good. It's out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah, I heard it's
Yeah.
just as good. I watched a documentary. This is really fun on Netflix called "This Is Pop." It's a series, basically, obviously, all about pop music, right? The first episode was about Boys to Men and how Boys to Men basically created the template for the boy band in the 90s and 2000s.
I can see that.
But was culturally appropriated because they, had this crossover hip hop thing, but they made all the new boy bands white guys. So that was basically the tone, for everything. There was one on country music to pop. It had an ABBA episode, which was great, like in the context of modern Swedish songwriters.
So it's basically how pop music steals stuff from other things.
Well, yeah, that was an aspect to it. But it had one on the history and the modern day evolution of the festival concert. But episode 2 is really the best one. It's all about auto-tune. All right. But the episode might as well have been called The Redemption of T-Pain. Okay. You guys know who T-Pain is, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does, But the history of auto-tune is pretty basic, right? The guy who invented it was a seismologist whose job was to do like sonographs on the earth to find oil. So they'd make a big bang and then he'd read the echoes coming back. So when he learned about this problem, right? And that's what he was doing. He was solving a problem of singers having to spend so much time in the studio. He knew exactly how to do it. He went to his computer and basically wrote auto-tune in a day or two and then shopped it around and sold it. And it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So then Cher comes along and does
Do You Believe in Love?
Do You Believe in Life After Love or whatever it is, right? Where her producer used auto-tune to create a special sort of sound, right? Now, there's absolutely no denying that Cher can't sing. She can sing. All right, that's literally what she did her entire life. We know the woman can sing. But just because that was produced that way, everyone sort of, kind of caught on to auto-tune in a way that hadn't been done before. Everybody was using auto-tune up to that point, but it was sort of like this secret, in the music industry. So then T-Pain, coming up when computers were getting into, music, he heard that song and wanted to reproduce that sound. He wanted his own unique sound. Now, if you've ever listened to have you ever listened to Tiny Desk concert on NPR?
I've heard it a few times, yeah.
Yeah,
T-Pain has one on there, dude, and it's amazing. All right, so the dude can sing.
He can. He actually won season 1 of The Masked Singer.
He did.
So he only reason he used auto-tune was to have like this distinct sound. And then he hits, and then everybody hates him. Okay, to the point where he's basically blackballed. He tells the story that he was on a plane going to the BET Awards, and Usher said, I want to talk to T-Pain. T-Pain goes to talk to Usher, and Usher said, you ruined music for singers. And he says, man, that was the point, how he didn't realize it then, but that was the point where it sent him on like a 4-year depression.
I can see
because that wasn't the case at all. He didn't ruin music. He just used, because dude, everybody in rap was using T-Pain on their hooks. And then Kanye West comes out with an album called 808 and Heartbreak, which is basically the same fucking album that T-Pain put out, a bunch of love songs using auto-tune. Dude, it was fucking awesome. All right. And I don't give a shit about any of the stuff that I actually just talked about. You know what I mean? In terms of being a nerd or being up on pop culture. But the way it was presented, and everybody knows who T-Pain is, it really made me feel better about a guy who got shit on. You hate it when people get shit on out of turn. And when you learn that it was out of turn, it gives you a new, perspective. Anyway, whatever. You guys should watch the hell out of that. It was dope.
It does sound interesting. I should try to check it out.
It was really good. It was really good.
I'll add it to my watch list.
Do it, man. Man, didn't Netflix used to have a thing where you can see what your friends are watching?
I don't know. I can't remember that.
That. Let's do news. Now the news. Man, I think we're gonna run through most of this pretty quick because it's all basically just stuff that we've already known about. We're just sort of getting a little bit more details on. Dark Ages got a bunch of new posters. This is September.
Steampunk Iron Man.
Yeah, it's a weird, juicy Iron Man. He looks kind of juicy there. He's dripping.
He's swole.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like everybody lost traditional power, so they have to get it some other way.
Here's your Spider-Man. He's got a cool little outfit.
Interesting. Yeah, like web shooters.
I'm pretty sure it's
on the
Ben
outside.
Riley. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Ben Riley.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also get a weird look at the Vision, who hasn't been in comics for a minute. At least in a ongoing sort of way. He'll drop in here and there, but and then introducing a character called the Unmaker, which I'm sorry, again, leads me to believe that this is all, revolving around the Maker and the revelation that came out of the last issue of Venom. And he is going to try to join the Council of Reeds by recreating his universe, the Ultimate Universe, out of the 616. That story sounds dope. Just me explaining this fake story that I made up in my own head just based off information that, may not mean anything.
That sounds dope, but
that's
not the story that they're
dude.
selling here. The story that they're selling here is like nothing.
The story that they're selling here is Tom Taylor is doing a book at Marvel. That's literally the only selling point of Dark Ages right now. Literally.
It's the only reason I'm considering.
Got a great artist too.
Ivan Coella is doing the art. He's not a slouch, but I wouldn't be as excited about it if Ivan Coella was the only name, associated with it. Mm-hmm. If it was like Saladin Ahmed and Ivan Coella, nothing against Ahmed, of course, he's good, but dude, Tom Taylor just wins when he does these sorts of books. Injustice was basically set out of the DCU. Deceased is definitely outside.
I'm just not excited for it. This just seems to be an event for the sake of having an event.
But there aren't any tie-ins announced yet. It's as far as we know, it's just a miniseries.
They do two types of events. There's like events, and then there's like placeholder events. Like
what was Heroes Reborn?
Like B card events. I would call Heroes Reborn.
I don't know what Heroes Reborn. It's a little weird.
It is a little weird because it had its own tie-ins. You know what I mean? But I mean, that doesn't really matter. Man, the whole idea of events and the definition of what's an event is so arbitrary. It's stupid. As long as we all agree that anything outside of the norm is most likely an event or a miniseries, we should.
Maybe we could do a top 5 about comic book events sometime. I mean, that's something that we could probably devote our brain spaces to a little bit,
Whatever. Moving on, the Unmaker is the next big thing. Mark my words. Is the next big thing.
Just another big, dumb fucking Celestial.
The other history.
I'll be surprised if he has a personality at all.
Right?
Yeah. We'll see.
He might have some cool lettering. That might be the most.
Oh, come on. His word balloons will be unique. Come on.
His word balloons will be black on red.
Come on. Oh, don't do that, man. That almost killed me. Dude, honestly, when the Batman Who Laughs was doing that, it almost made me drop the damn book.
Why is he talking like this?
It definitely made me go get my eyes checked. That's when I realized, holy shit, I need new glasses. Honestly, for sure. That's the moment.
Hey, my glasses only have blue blockers on it.
Right? I couldn't read it, dude. I had to get a flashlight out and to brighten it, dude. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Other history of the DC Universe dropped a first look for issue number 5. It's spotlighting the daughter of Black Lightning, which makes sense because the first issue started with Black Lightning. I can't rave enough about this series. John Ridley is writing it. Giuseppe Camicoli and Andrea Gucci are on the art. John Ridley's going to be taking over Black Panther soon. A lot of hype for that.
That'd be cool.
I'm stoked for it. If it's anything like the work that he's been doing here, it's incredible. It is not your traditional comic. The sequential art is not very sequential at all. In spots like this, of course, you can see it, but it's more splash pages with a lot of, things that seem like a lot of exhibition, it's more prose really than it is comics, but it's a unique take and I loved it, man. It's nominated for an Eisner. Yeah. That first issue is nominated for an Eisner. Getting into this now, David's favorite artist is coming back.
When will Marvel ever learn its lesson?
Go ahead.
Hey, when people stop buying it, that's when they will stop putting it out. Somebody is buying this Rob Liefeld shit.
People love Rob Liefeld. I know people on Facebook and online who love his ass.
Whatever else you want to think about Disney and Marvel and all them, they don't do stuff that doesn't make them money.
Thank you.
Well, at least they know.
Liefeld has been critical of the new X-Men run and generally Marvel in general, but yet they sever ties with him and then they bring him back.
Well, at least
don't bring him back.
Well, at least they know
He makes
now to
some
keep
money.
him in his own little corner, not connected to the actual Marvel universe. He's not really writing like a main book for Marvel or anything. He's
basically
just doing this little side shit.
He's basically doing X-Men Legends. Is anyone
Yes,
else
that's all
reading
he's
X-Men
doing.
Legends? This week's
No, just
issue was
you.
written by Walter and Louise Simonson. It's a throwback to their, like, Larry Hama is doing one to continue taking over in a few issues, and he's going to be picking up his Wolverine run from back in the day.
Oh shit!
So that's basically what Liefeld is doing with his shit that he does at Marvel anymore. Here's that Red X guy. I don't even remember his fucking name. He's on the cover of this. Kill Shot #1 is the name of it, written and art.
Oh, and that is such a Liefeld name.
Kill Shot. I know.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
I'm also a G.I. Joe fan. G.I. Joe comics are here and there for me, but I'm in several Facebook groups about G.I. Joe comics. They love his Dead Game. His Snake Eyes book. It's getting a lot of love, man. What kind of fucking Deadpool is this in here?
It looks like
a Venom Deadpool.
Vintage Deadpool.
Jesus, what are they doing?
Venom Pool or something like that. Pool Venom.
Is that from the last series that introduced the red X on his head?
I don't know.
Dude.
I mean, okay, so Deadpool written well can be a lot of fun. Venom written well.
Oh, Deadpool was written well this week.
But
It was.
Venom and Deadpool, though, they are emblematic of like the worst type of trends you see in comics, and them combined together here is like the perfect storm of stupid, hacky bullshit.
But those two characters that you mentioned, don't they sort of exemplify a particular decade that Rob Liefeld is also really associated with? So I mean, he's feeding into what his audience wants.
Yeah, he's giving his demographic what they want,
and I think that's what Marvel's doing.
We're just
They're trying to cover every base they can. Comics is so cheap that it's easy for them to do a book like this because it's definitely going to make its money back, no matter what they do. You know what I mean? No matter what is actually in the book, because it's just a one shot. It's not a big investment for them.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, I don't have to get it if I don't want it.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
I'm definitely not getting it.
I probably will end up getting it because I have all the X books on my list, and my comic shop will take advantage of me. It's like, oh, it's an X book, asshole. That's what you're getting. Anyway, I love those guys, though. They're great. Because they might be listening. All right, Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino back for Green Arrow. This is huge
cool.
news.
They were by far the only team during the New 52 era worth reading on Green Arrow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. This is going to happen in the 80th anniversary 100-page spectacular. It's probably going to be, I think it's $10. Yeah, $10, 96 pages, June 29th. It's really got that Old Man Logan energy for me, which makes sense because
it looks like
Green
Old
Arrow
Man
story,
Logan.
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino were the team on the Old Man Logan book.
They were.
But here it is to show us another end of his life. The Last Green Arrow Story is the name of the story. It reintroduces us to an aged and seemingly retired Oliver Queen as he returns to the island where it all began for a showdown that's been a lifetime in the making. So that's dope, man. That run.
Sounds cool. I think I definitely have to check this out.
Yeah, I'm getting that. It's going to have those decade variant covers. I don't have them. I wish it had just been more images for me to upload, though. But I really enjoy those decades variant covers,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely checking this out.
Yeah,
this
me too.
Dope.
Yeah, me too.
Jeff Lemire is a bankable dame for sure.
Oh, dude. Almost as much as Al
They're a
Ewing.
great team. They love
Almost as
working
much as Al
together.
Ewing. Oh, dude, Jeff Lemire had a great book this week. I'm pretty sure David will have it on his top 3.
We'll see.
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll see. It will find out in an hour when I get through the fucking news. Last Annihilation news, including more details on just how big it is. I mean, we're going to spoil Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's a rather personal question.
Number 15 later, I'm sure. It was basically a fucking Hellfire Gala tie-in. Thanks a lot, Marvel. I'm so glad I picked it up just because I've been picking it up, but it would have been nice to know. Anyway, Dormammu. It's Dormammu. Somehow he had to be birthed from an egg, an ego. Ego.
He hatched out of Ego, the living planet. And on a sense, you should have known because like this was like a Skrull like fire cult that was summoning him.
You should have known. You should have known all along it was Dormammu.
Yeah.
All right, it's in space though, so I really wouldn't have. Dormammu to me doesn't feel like a Guardians of the Galaxy or a cosmic villain. It
He's
works.
Space
Well,
Dormammu.
Definitely works.
It
I can
works.
see it though. I mean, Dormammu's
Yeah.
kind of got an interesting place because like he's well known as like this big like apocalyptic level threat, but most of the time when he shows up in a book nowadays, it's like, "I'll get you, Doctor Strange," and Doctor Strange like slaps him back to whatever fucking dimension he came from.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is actually the first look for Guardians 16. Al Ewing, Juan Frigeri, Brett Booth is doing the cover because he's massive, awesome covers. Anyway, it's on sale July 21st. This came out from Marvel in yesterday's action-packed Guardians of the Galaxy's number 15. Fans finally learned the Dark Threat, and they like spoil the fucking issue the day after it came out.
Of course they did. That's what they always do.
Assholes. So I mean, we don't really have to know anything else, from there. It's Dormammu doing Dormammu shit through Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's going to be. Well, I have the checklist somewhere. There's also going to be a Black Panther because the intergalactic whatever of Wakanda is like a real thing now.
It is.
It's a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how Coates' run ended. Is T'Challa's up there being king of like the fucking galaxy now.
Black Panther in space.
It's rad, dude. It's rad. Last Annihilation is also going to get a tie-in starring Wiccan and Hulkling. I'm stoked for that. Would they even mention that in here? There's a checklist, man. Hold on, let me find them. It's also Cable Reloaded, which we knew about already, as well as Sword, which, man, Dr. Doom really gets around.
Yeah, he does.
Or those Doom bots. We'll talk about it later. Because, damn, he was at a dinner party. He was out in space helping Rocket Raccoon and being replaced or switched with him. But then he's also on a Sword space station kicking it. Doom was all over the place. Where the hell is the checklist I had, dude?
It's another image that you had to load.
No shit.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of books that were just The Last Annihilation, or were those Guardians of the Galaxy books?
Yeah, no, those were all Guardians.
Yeah, and there's going to be one for Sword, obviously, which even if it wasn't like in their wheelhouse, Al Ewing is writing both books, so of course he'd tie in with himself.
Man. Well, I mean, again, we'll talk about it in a little while. He tied those two books in together this week.
They were basically interchangeable. Like it was basically like two issues of the same book for all intents and purposes.
It was. We'll talk about that in a
They're
bit.
both good, but still.
So this is going to be a 3-month sort of event, but it's only like 7 issues. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 16, Sword number 7, Guardians 17, Cable Reloaded, and then Wiccan Hulkling, Wakanda, and Guardians 18. So not too terrible.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to be on board for this. I mean, I was reading Guardians and Sword anyway, so
I'll just pick up the other 2 books or anything else they decide to add. I was definitely getting the Cable book too, because I'm already getting Cable. But so maybe I'll come up with some music and we'll all read that. Anyway,
music to read comics by Go.
Beyond.
Put that on Spotify.
Spider-Man Beyond. They couldn't have thought of a better name for talking.
It's okay. I don't hate
that.
The
name's fine.
It's a future Spider-Man. They straight up stole it from fucking Batman.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
I'm okay with that, but it's kind of like weird.
Well, to be fair, that show stole a lot from Spider-Man because that show is
wrong.
basically Batman as Spider-Man.
You're not.
Yeah,
wrong.
what if Spider-Man was Batman?
Yeah. So it's yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. But it looks like Peter's going to bite the dust. Ben Reilly's going to take over. And a whole lot of other crazy shit.
Jules will be happy.
Oh, sorry about that.
My frosted tips, bitches.
Everything is going to start out in the Free Comic Book Day book, whatever it's called. And it's weird. Zeb Wells, Kelly Thompson, and Saladin Ahmed, Cody Ziegler, Patrick Gleason are all writing and drawing and creating this book.
Comes out 3 times a month.
It's going to come out 3 times a month, which is not unheard of.
No, it's not.
Way back in the day, even before Dan Slott, I think, got a hold of this, they were doing Amazing, Friendly Neighborhood, and Sensational.
Yeah, right after a Brand New Day, they were pumping out Spider-Man books like motherfuckers.
That's when all 3 of those ended, actually. But they were still. Then Amazing went 3 times a month after that. So, yeah, we'll see how that works. I don't really like this idea.
I don't really like it either.
But anything's better than Nick Spencer right now.
Yeah, I am ready to move on from Nick Spencer. And I am ready for something new in general for Spider-Man to do, and this sounds new.
They haven't done anything with Ben Riley in forever, so it would be kind of cool.
Well, the last thing they did with Ben Riley was they made him the Jackal.
So, yeah, I didn't like that. And that's
that was so stupid. I forgot about it. So
wasn't that Spider-Verse?
They did that. Conspiracy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
But this is a good stable of writers, regardless. You know, it looks like it'll be fun.
A lot of times you get too many cooks in the kitchen. Zeb Wells is killing it on Hellions.
Maybe.
Kelly Thompson's killing it on Black Widow and Captain Marvel. And I think she's still doing Deadpool. Saladin Ahmed is killing it.
So is this all going to be? Is this all going to be the same book, or is this going to be 3 individual books that they're making? Who knows?
It's one book.
Okay.
As far as we could tell. It's just Amazing Spider-Man, and that's it. Cody Ziegler is a writer. He's been writing. What the hell did he do? He did shit, I don't even remember. He did some. Oh, Cody Ziegler is a new name in comics, but the work he did for the upcoming She-Hulk show and Rick and Morty showed us at Marvel that he is part of the next generation of Marvel superstar writers. So he ain't written shit.
No idea what to think then, you know.
And then Patrick Gleason. Everybody knows who Patrick Gleason is. He's a DC artist, but he's going to come over and start writing now.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. He did some writing over at DC also.
He did a bunch of TV series over on Adult Swim. He has credits for Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Squid
Cody Ziegler.
Cody Ziegler.
Yeah.
Your Pretty Face is going to hell.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It depends on how they do this. I just got done saying the other week, right? I love what they're doing at Marvel in terms of Hickman being the head of X. You know what I mean? Like the showrunner for the whole line.
Yeah, like the dean of the X campus.
That might be something that's going on here, you know, where there's...
Yeah, but who's the dean? Is it Zeb?
I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Animal House!
Comic book writers hate doing that, man.
It's also true, though, that Hickman is like particularly good at that.
What?
So it's also true that Hickman is like uniquely good at that sort of thing. So not necessarily something that another person could come in and replicate. And not impossible though. I mean, I would like to see them at least make the attempt. I think that's a cool idea for them to use moving forward.
And I think Spider-Man is a great test to do that outside of Hickman, you know, after the success of X-Men. And I think it's a good idea. I think it's a really solid idea. How many fucking Spidey books are there in as far as there being a Silk book and a Gwenpool or Gwen, whatever her name was, Spider-Man?
Well, right now, we got Silk, Nonstop Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Yeah. It would be great if there was cohesion between all of those books.
Oh, no, absolutely, yeah.
Under like a Spider-Man umbrella, so to speak, where, you know, you start doing everything. All right, that's it. That's all the news. Let's get into the Hellfire Gala. This probably won't take too long. And there's one more week. How I enjoy my event going. Oh, there's another event right around the corner. We're gonna start with Wolverine because that's the order that we went in. Wolverine number 13. That's the order that they were.
This is basically
that's the only one I didn't read this week.
A sequel to the X-Force issue.
I didn't read it.
Yeah, it's a direct follow-up to X-Force. Beast is Breaking Bad here, you know?
Well, Beast has been Breaking Bad this entire time.
Is he though?
Yes,
sort of.
In what way? The way the United States CIA breaks bad? I mean, he's literally doing the most
mind controlled another country, and then it blew up in his face because he got fucked up. So
that sounds very CIA.
Fixed it.
That sounds very
CIA. He basically replaced.
It doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah, that does not retort what I was saying at all.
I think I think Beast has all the best intentions. Great cover here at Wolverine.
I'm sure he does. I mean, everyone who does these sorts of things has good intentions.
He has the best intentions. He only means to make Krakoa a safer place, but he goes about it by any means necessary, and usually by the worst means.
You stole a whole country.
I mean, especially in the X-Force book, like his little monologue there about like if someone who knew better came down and like dictated what you should be doing, you'd thank him. You know, like
if it was a god, yeah.
But if I told you it was a blue fur ball.
See, Beast is a bastard, but let me just say, I am down for Beast being a bastard. I am down for reading it.
Countries need bastards.
They do. You need a bastard, and Beast will willingly be that bastard.
I mean, I think that's part of sort of what Hickman and the team with X-Men is doing overall with this new status quo, is sort of showing how the X-Men basically become villains simply by adopting what humanity has already adopted. You know what I mean? Because that's really all they're doing. They're just doing it to the X degree, I guess you could say. You know, if humans were able to do what the X-Men would do, they would so fucking terraform Mars. Okay, we would have so done that. You know what I mean? But they're doing it out of a nationalistic sort of stance. So that's their viewpoint. You know, nationalism. And I think that's sort of a reflection of America in a way. I think that's sort of
definitely.
It reminds me of like some lessons in history. Is why would you want to replace a king with the emperor? Well, you know that's all they've known is some kind of line like that.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be better than humans, but they're still sinking to human levels.
Well, exactly. I think that's basically what's being said. Here, Emma. I'm not sure what Emma's play is here. What is she doing to Beast here? Is she changing his mind about something? Is she making him forget something? That's not a good idea.
Is that supposed to be just them like communicating telepathically? Because they were talking.
I thought that was down here in this panel. She's sort of like saying, no, that didn't happen. I don't know. I think they left it open ended, or maybe I missed something. But there's definitely a problem there. But. And then the Marauder is on fire at the end. There's some unknown person murdered somebody who was on board.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's going to impact...
A mutant got murdered?
I mean, death has no consequence for mutants right now. So.
This probably won't get followed up on in the Wolverine book in any way, but...
this is basically an X-Force book, this Wolverine book. And a Marauders book, kind of, too.
Presumably, they're going to follow this up in the Marauders book, which, does make it kind of a weird stinger for this book,
It's weird that Ben Percy wrote this, but again, in the context of everything that's going on with the Hellfire Gala, he pulled it off. Fuck yeah, it works. He killed it on this, on a book that he's basically not even writing. He's writing Wolverine. He wrote a book that was basically not even a Wolverine book.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, Wolverine was, like, the least consequential character in this book, honestly.
Yeah,
he had one fist fight with a plant person.
And it didn't even really work out.
Yeah.
And
he had some shenanigans with Deadpool.
But still, a solid
Deadpool
issue.
is slowly trying to get on this goddamn team.
He kind of worked. It's easy to get invited to the Hellfire Gala. I'm surprised as the king of Monster Island that he wasn't already on the guest list, honestly. That seems kind of prejudiced.
They are below what the X-Men are looking for, Yeah,
I don't
they don't really want to be associated with monsters.
Moving on to Sword, Taylor, talk about Sword while I upload these amazing images.
So, Sword was basically a series of conversations, but they were very well written, excellent conversations. I really love this conversation that Doom was having with Captain America, because like it is kind of interesting getting like the different perspectives from like different schools of thought from humanity here, like Captain America, like he doesn't like begrudge mutants or anything, but he does kind of regret that like they are further isolating themselves from humanity in really the most dramatic way they possibly could. By literally moving to another planet. And I also like the whole thing about like Doom, like, aren't we both the faces of a nation? And like, they both kind of are. So it's kind of an interesting connection that they share.
Yeah. Love this here, man. This is
that's
the
a
opening
beautiful
page.
panel.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful page with Captain America staring off. And again, this is so, I think, symbolic of what I was saying about this entire run, how it's humanity seeing themselves. That's the problem. Humanity is not going to see themselves in the X-Men. They're not going to see that what the X-Men are doing are exactly what they do, so absolutely love. Yeah, it was really good. Hey, thanks for stopping by, John. Really appreciate it. Tell your friends.
Yeah, but then we move on to like the conference on Mars. Doom shows up for that one too, but I guess we'll get to that in a minute.
This one.
Yeah, where all these different dignitaries from across the galaxy show up, and they're like, "Okay, so what the fuck did you guys do?"
Yeah.
And
why should we care?
Yeah.
And exactly. Why should we care? Big deal. You have now two planets in your shitty little system.
One of them pointed out that like you built a colony on the planet closest to you. We do this sort of shit every day. Why should we care?
Yeah.
But they do bring out
the big guns.
Yeah, they bring out the Mysterium, which apparently is going to be a real commodity on the galactic market right now.
Yeah, this is great.
Going to be the new cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it's actually more real than any currency that we actually have on Earth right now. Just FYI, because it's backed up by a physical, thing and object.
They have the Mysterium standard. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So at this meeting of galactic powers, yes. The mutants, and again, these are the mutants, use Mysterium, which is a really strong, really light metal that can be used for all sorts of things like building ships, but also because of Null's invasion, the galaxy has this economic, downturn, this problem.
Yeah, between the Kree Skrull empires merging together and Null doing all of his shit, the galaxy is in a bit of a tailspin right now, and this can be apparently a real stabilizing agent for the entire known universe, apparently.
Exactly, and they're calling the currency the Soul, which I love, and Abigail Brand just giving piles of this shit away. Just giving piles of it. Here's the graph. Here's everybody who took it. The Galactic Rim Collective.
And those who didn't.
Yeah, well, no, I think
that's the people in attendance. Later on in the
didn't.
book, they have the people who didn't take it. And I think Wakanda was the one that didn't need it.
No, they took it. They just weren't agreeing. They took.
Well, that's a running theme that they've had even from back at the very beginning of all the Krakoa stuff, where Wakanda is like, "That good for you, but we don't care."
Because in the ultimate ending of all of this shit, when Earth is gonna, have to fight the combined forces of Krakoa, Wakanda is the only thing that's gonna help Earth eventually not lose completely.
Yeah, I mean, we all know this.
Wakanda.
Inevitably, this all ends with all this crashing down.
Yeah.
Or at least, that's a pretty safe assumption.
Yeah. So just like Krakoa gave all of these drugs to humans, to sapiens, to make sure that they basically buying their diplomatic, ends here, buying themselves socio-political clout, really.
By making them junkies, yeah.
Well, no, junkies of health, sure. These miracle drugs. Anyway.
They're the suppliers of, however you want to frame that. Yeah, sure. They're the suppliers here.
The mutants are doing the same thing on a galactic level using economics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfect. I think it digs into so much recent history with, like Taylor was saying, the Shi'ar, Kree, getting together, Null doing his
first
thing.
Bank of Krakoa.
Yeah, first bank of Krakoa, man. It's awesome.
Krakoa Savings and Loan.
So I love this. This was a great shot of
X-Fed.
Of the X, and Doom saying, who the hell is going to be the regent? Who is this person?
Yeah. Like Doom gets to make his big dramatic entrance. We were alluding to this a little bit earlier, but Doom is a character in Guardians of the Galaxy right now, but he had a very big role in Sword. Yeah. Magneto is a character in Sword, but he had a very big role to play in Guardians of the Galaxy. So we are really getting chocolate in everyone's peanut butter here.
This is from Planet Size X-Men #1. This is Storm walking into this diplomatic area, and that is a tease. That is definitely a hint, because we learn that's not the one I wanted. Storm is the regent of the entire solar system.
The region of Soul.
which is dope because that means what Storm is going to be now in Sword and Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm stoked.
She has
for that.
experience.
Of course she does.
Yeah, she is a queen.
Yeah, but dude, this also puts her in a prime position to sort of work that Wakanda angle, okay? Because Wakanda has such a power hold on Earth, but they also have this new foothold in the galactic shit, right? So Storm being there, just man, and even if it doesn't help, even if T'Challa sees all through that shit,
you say that
it's still so dramatic, dude.
You say that, but Storm has pretty much burned all of her bridges with Wakanda.
Maybe with Wakanda, but not fucking T'Challa. Not with T'Challa, though. There's still something there.
You remember leading up with the Ten of Swords?
I remember,
but burning all of those bridges.
In the Black Panther title,
the heart wants, man.
In the Black Panther title, she seems to be on pretty good terms with Wakanda. It doesn't seem to, or maybe they haven't taken into account all the stuff where she stole the sword in Ten of Swords or anything, but the most recent interactions that they've published of her with Wakanda, they seem to be in pretty good terms with each other.
Yeah, and that's got to be a political move, putting Storm in charge. I mean, I'm not saying she's not qualified. She's more than qualified. But because Wakanda has such a foothold, I think that's a big deal, man. I think
she really is a great choice, not just because of that, but also because Storm is one of the X-Men. She is one of the biggest characters they have, and this puts her in a really prime position, which up to this point, she really hasn't had that going on in all of these Krakoa books. I know she's on the Quiet Council and everything, but...
Well, no, she had some points where she had like that technovirus. She was in Marauders doing
sure.
Stuff.
I mean, she's
but you're right.
Doing
she
stuff.
wasn't at the forefront of anything, and this puts her in a position. She's regal again.
Yeah, and let's be honest, she is the best leader of the X-Men anyway.
Oh, 100%.
So she should, so
that's one of the
entire solar system.
That's one of the few things that I think Cyclops and Wolverine can agree on.
Right?
aside from fucking Jean Grey, I guess.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So this is also back to Planet-Size X-Men. This is the moment where they're asking about Legion and shouldn't we bring Powerhouse Franklin Richards in on terraforming Mars? And he says, no, we have no more need for pretenders. The boy is no family of ours. I'm sorry. That's too many words in there that hint back to exactly what ended up happening in this issue of Sword, where for no fucking reason at all, nothing that I can find in any other books.
She got invited. She said she got invited.
Who the fuck? Are you serious?
Magneto invited her.
Sense. This is literally a not a mutant who they tell scary campfire stories to the kids about. And they're going to invite her to the diplomatic party? I don't know.
She made the right
guy
call.
Who was just saying,
exactly.
The heart wants what the heart wants with Black Panther.
Well, heck, this was teased in Way of X.
Old man Eric here, he's just
this was talked about in Way of X, but actually Way of X came after this, so this actually teased what they were going to talk about in Way of X.
But okay, regardless of whatever else is going on here, this was a really sweet moment.
It was.
Like I said at the beginning of all this is a long series of really well-written conversations, and this might have been the very best one.
Yeah. Now, with all that said, let's just be upfront. We all think this is legit. We don't think Magneto. We think Magneto actually loves his, his daughter, quote unquote daughter. But there's also an angle in Sword where there's an issue with Wanda because in terms of diplomacy, because the X-Men are on the outs with Wanda, and Wanda just so happens to be the mother of the spouse of the leader of the Kree Skrull Empire.
Yeah, she is the mother of the court wizard of the
Wiccan,
Kree Skrull Empire.
So there's a little bit of a rub there. There's friction there.
They mentioned that Kl'rt did not go to this summit because of that bad blood.
Exactly, dude. Yeah. Exactly. So while I'm with you, okay, I think Magneto is being sweet and legit here, but there's an angle there where, you know what? Magneto will do anything he needs to do to make sure the job gets done. Maybe he's just making nice with Wanda for diplomatic reasons and doesn't really give a shit about her at all. And I'd be okay with that too. I would be okay with either one of those, okay? Because Wanda is kind of an enemy to mutants. You can't deny it,
As bad of a dad as Magneto is, Wanda is clearly his favorite child.
Oh, for sure.
definitely.
Well, what are the other options?
Polaris
Polaris is dope, but Quicksilver, hell no. He's the worst of the worst. He's so terrible. He is just terrible. Polaris is cool though. Polaris doesn't get enough love.
Polaris is cool, but Magneto treats her
Hey,
like
she's on
shit.
X-Men now.
You're like,
Oh, yeah.
She'll
shit,
get some
man.
love.
When they
Like,
had that
shit.
when they had that X Factor investigations or whatever it is,
Yeah.
he was pretty much like, you may have my name, but you got to be
Well, I
careful
mean,
with it.
was. Yeah.
This is getting a little far afield here, but like Magneto, I think probably favors Wanda because she's the most powerful. Like at his core, Magneto values power, and Wanda is one of the most powerful individual entities in the entire fucking universe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, even if it's like even just on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He might actually be a little bit resentful of Polaris in ways, because she has the same power as him basically, but he's just way more powerful. Yeah,
she's
weak
one
in a way that he can immediately recognize.
Yeah, this would be a cool thing for a writer to explore sometime. But yeah, that could be an interesting angle to have on that. Is that like he kind of he doesn't respect Polaris because she's the weaker version of him.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, man, Sword was such a dope issue. We will definitely mention it again. But Way of X also came out. Way of X #3, Cy Spurrier and Bob Quinn. This issue.
This was a really fun issue.
It was a fun issue.
Yeah, this was fun.
So pretty much through all the Hellfire Gala, we have seen Nightcrawler pop up in pretty much every issue.
And just drinking.
Drunk
ass.
Yeah,
getting tore up from the floor up.
And this is just following his
the moment
story
he walked
getting
through the
fucked
door.
up all night. And
we actually see some of
entertaining.
those same interactions redone here, where like he's talking to Captain Britain's wife and these various other people. Oh, and
Megan.
Mr. Sinister
Megan. Yeah, and him and Megan actually used to have a thing.
Yeah.
So he actually gets into that, like all embarrassingly, drunkenly. And you feel bad for the guy.
Well, it does make more sense on why he's drunk. He's drunk because he's the only one who knows that Onslaught is here.
I guess. That's a weird reason to drink.
I know, but he's all at a party and he doesn't want to bring everybody down, so he's just like, well, I'm the only one who knows this evil psychic entity is here to kill everybody.
I mean, not just that, but also like he's seeing like the downside of everything that's been going on. I mean, this is like their big moment of jubilation, and this entire book so far has been about Nightcrawler, like not exactly feeling this same vibe that everybody else is seeing, that he thinks that there's something very rotten at the core of all this, even beyond Onslaught.
But I mean, they allude in this that
I'm just saying it makes sense that he'd go like and get shit.
Sure, you're right.
That's like his mentality going in.
They allude to this that like he's talking to Stacy X. There's this weird brothel. There's this idea that mutants, because of their powers, sometimes have difficulty with physical interaction and sexual intercourse. Legion shows up and is like, nah, you can do it. And it kind of backfires in a way.
Well,
he's kind of a dick about it. Which
well,
is
he wasn't.
Legion is a huge dick.
He was more or less. I
think he was more
using
ignorant
that
about
to
it.
bait.
He was kind of ignorant about what they were actually trying to do. They weren't trying to have this meaningful, emotional moment. They were just trying to have a hookup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those are two totally different things.
He did that with ulterior reasons, though.
But he did. You're absolutely right. He wanted to bring, Onslaught out, so it might not have been that. But
I do take him at his word, though, when he's also saying like, it's better for it to come out now.
Yeah.
That way you don't have that whole Scott Summers and Jean Grey and then Madeline Pryor issue.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I think it's also just true that Legion doesn't really understand the way that normal people think, because he's.
I think that too.
He's this godlike entity,
Yeah,
like
and
he has the fucking Zorn twins, who are like super powerful ass mutants in their own right. They're his fucking hype squad. They just follow around and just like.
I love that. I love that he's got the Zorn twins as a hype squad. I mean, seriously, his entourage are two of the most powerful psychics to ever live. It's just weird, dude. But man, I don't know. I might have looked too deep into this whole thing with Lau and Mercury and Legion doing his thing.
This is a book that invites you to look deep into it. It is the philosophical book of.
It feels spiritual, philosophical.
Yes, it is. It is Nightcrawler trying to explore what the 3 laws actually mean in practice. And this issue is all about exploring.
Or maybe not what they mean, but I don't know. You might be right. Maybe he's trying to better define what it actually means.
Well, no, Adam's right.
To make more mutants.
This one was, the Make More Mutants one, and he's getting into the implications of that in a way that no other book has done so far.
Mm-hmm. But Make More Mutants doesn't mean they're going to be great parents.
Well, and I mean, does that even matter? I mean, they Make More Mutants. Krakoa provides. Obviously, it's providing right now. You know what I mean? Does it really matter if they're good parents or not?
I mean, I would say so.
I don't know. I don't know.
Arguably, it matters more than ever.
Which fucking awesome mutant has ever had good parents?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Name one good mutant parent ever.
I would argue that Cyclops' dad isn't the bad dad.
The one who lost his kid and never went back and got him?
He went into space. Not his fault.
I know. Still.
You are right, though. There are way more bad parents than there are good parents. Not just in the X-Men, but in like superheroes in general.
Yeah.
If they're not dead, they're bad.
Dead or bad, yeah.
Yeah. So Nightcrawler.
What is this, a Disney movie?
Nightcrawler basically decides that Krakoa does not need procreation; it needs connections. So is that what Make More Mutants means? Make more connections between mutants and not so
That's
much.
That's what Nightcrawler's probably going to try to make it mean whenever he writes his whatever books that they keep showing quotes from.
I'm trying to read this book in a way that is going to sort of establish the spiritual or philosophical methodology moving forward with the entire X line. You know what I mean?
Part of the problem is that you're looking for conclusions out of it. And a lot of this is the journey. We're watching Nightcrawler's journey through this. And so he is exploring it the same way you are. And so when he at the end has no conclusions.
Yeah, and again, he can analyze.
So we won't know until we get to the end of this.
Exactly.
Really,
and he can analyze the data all he wants. I think he's ignorant in a lot of things. I know he is. He doesn't know about Moira. He doesn't know about any of the shit that Xavier and Magneto and her are hiding. So he is working off of a premise without all of the data needed to actually reach a conclusion that is going to, dictate a quality outcome. I still like going there, though. Next week, we got X Factor 10 and Cable number 11. Yes, Cable number 11 is technically a Gala tie-in, I think. But not really.
I'm honestly a little iffy on if I'm even going to read these next week, honestly. It seems like all the big... They didn't mark them as must-read, so even they think that
they're not the red one. Yeah, I mean, if you're not reading X Factor or Cable already, there may not be any reason to. I think you're right. I think we've gotten everything.
All the big stuff is out.
All the tasty morsels, yeah.
But I still like both of those books, so I'm going to get it.
Me too.
But speaking
I'm picking them both up anyway.
Now that everything's out, though, Magneto never killed anybody or did anything that's like get him into whatever this next thing is.
There was a murder on the boat, but that was a mutant. So
that might come out in X Factor because X Factor is the investigation team.
That was what I was going to wrap this. The second thing I was going to say is Nova brings up a previous murder in Guardians of the Galaxy, and I was like, oh, maybe that's the murder. Maybe it's not Earth putting him in on trial. Maybe it's a galactic trial of some kind.
Even Nova didn't care about that by the end of the book.
Not even Nova. He was just bringing that up as an excuse to fuck with Magneto. Sure.
He's sick of working with all these supervillains.
You're just talking shit.
But I mean, I think that was a cool little note there. Maybe that was a hint at who Magneto murdered and who he's going on trial for. I mean, Magneto is definitely a cosmic character now because of his station within S.W.O.R.D. And if you remember the trial of Jean Grey, that was remember that? In the new X-Men, the all-new X-Men?
And Guardians of the Galaxy. It was Bendis.
It was Bendis.
It was a crossover, yeah.
It was Bendis doing a crossover.
Right before that what was it? That Black Vortex.
The Black
crossover.
Vortex, yeah.
That was a
I like
bad crossover.
Black Vortex wasn't bad either. It wasn't bad either. So yeah, we did not see a murder, but we
Parts of
still
it
have time. And yes, exactly what Adam said. X Factor, they're the ones. And this is the solicit at the Hellfire Gala. Secrets will be revealed. Vengeance will be had. And someone's number is up. You'll never guess whose. So
Right.
it's
X
implying
Factor.
a murder.
Well, X Factor.
I'm selling Taylor on X Factor number 10 now. He's like, damn, I mean,
So here's the other thing with X Factor is X Factor is the book that is the team. Leah Williams is the team that is going to write the Trial of Magneto book.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. With Worker, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent points, Adam. Damn, this motherfucker paying attention. All right. So, man,
they're
Hellfire Gala has been gold.
They're canceling X Factor for this Trial of Magneto book, which I'm mad about.
Yeah.
One thing that I was kind of surprised, going back to Sword real quick,
part
of me was wondering if Magneto was going to try to kill Wanda, and that's what the Trial of Magneto
Oh,
was
damn. I bet you turned the page and were like, oh, shit. Because that never even occurred to me.
I was hoping not, but it did cross my mind.
Oh, that would have been awesome, dude, because a lot of people would have been like, well, good. Fuck her, you know? A lot of mutants would have been like, hell with
I'm not
her.
even sure it's possible to kill Wanda.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up. Yeah, let's wrap this shit up.
Gala's been dope, man.
Holy shit, we are an hour in.
I know, we got a bunch of shit, guys.
We haven't even got to the top 3 yet.
All right, wrap
And we're going to wrap it this. This is go super quick because, man, thank goodness. This is the last time I play this video.
It was a big fight.
It's so loud!
I'm actually going to delete it. Bye,
David.
Heroes Reborn. Heroes Return, number 1, Jason Aaron, Ed McGuinness. Epic oversized slugfest, $6. Kind of lame, textbook.
You know that's basically what it is.
It's a big
It's
fight.
an epic, oversized
Big old
slugfest.
fight.
Yeah.
This is the only thing of relevance.
Yeah, this is the only thing
It's
irrelevant.
exactly what it said on the 10.
Yep.
It was a cool fight, though. Like, it was
One
cool to see,
problem-
like, Thor and Hyperion slugging it out. It was cool. The thing you just showed, it was cool to see, like, the Star Brand and the Phoenix nuking Wonder Woman there, you know?
Yeah,
Right. So this has been a fun event, and this is a fun fight. My whole problem with this whole thing, though, is nobody remembers this at the end. Like
it's
only
like House of M, only a few people.
only some of the squad remembers.
Yeah, Blade remembers.
Blade remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used it as an excuse to time jump Star Brand.
Right,
So-
and it tie jumps Starbrand, and it gives us the Council of Mephisto, which is cool stuff, I guess, going forward. But it feels like this whole event didn't need to be this whole big event.
What
I
has
don't know.
Aaron's entire run of Avengers has been nothing but showing you cool shit that may or may not pay off later.
But it's fun.
It is fun.
consistently fun.
I'm not taking. Dude, Heroes Reborn was just fun. I don't think it's going to do anything sweeping changes. I don't think this changed to Hyperion. The Spider-Man scene, where Spider-Man doesn't remember him or. You know what I mean? I think that's all stupid and dumb.
Also, we're pointing out that he's like, I'm here to see an old friend. Did he mean Peter? Because Peter hated him.
He thought, though. No, he thought Peter loved his ass.
Yeah.
He's just that stupid. Yeah, he's just that dumb, man.
Yeah, he's oblivious.
I would actually think I would like them to revisit Heroes Reborn universe eventually. I think there's still some things there that they can explore.
Well, they definitely left some dangling plot threads where.
Yeah, Nighthawk said that he would return the world if he was the only one that did it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the other members of the squadron seem to remember it perfectly fine. So that seed is there if they want to try to circle back to this stuff later.
Well, I don't know if you remember, House of M actually had a book called House of M Avengers that came out like 10 years after House of M. Just exploring Luke Cage and all those folks, the street level guys the humans, the street level humans.
I feel like they missed their window on that.
They definitely did. It was still a good read. It was still a solid read. But yeah, I think they could revisit Heroes Reborn universe, just saying, okay, this is the Heroes Reborn universe, and here's
hopefully
the story
sooner than 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now,
one thing I will say though, like if we're looking at this as like a metaphor, the whole event for like is like a lens through which to view American society. I think it is kind of interesting that the squadron wasn't really vanquished, just suppressed. And that too can be kind of a message about American society, right? That all these elements like xenophobia, like jingoism, the war machine, all these like ADD culture, all the things that the squadron members perhaps represent, they aren't gone. They've just been defeated for now. Yeah. It's just the same way that those things are part of American society, and America has its moments where it makes improvements. America has moments where it moves into better encapsulating the ideals that it's supposed to have. But all those elements are still there.
Yes.
They don't go away.
Damn, you went deeper on this than I did. I mean, I started off, you and I were like, man, is this political? Is this political? And you leaned way harder into it than I had. But you're right. You're way right, dude. I mean, you just made it better for me. This last issue, you made it better for me because I may go back and read them all again in the quick succession just to see.
I don't know. This was a fun event.
It was. I had a good time with it.
I don't know. My big problem with the event at the end is, I guess, an expectation thing. I was hoping that Jason Aaron would actually wrap up some stuff, some threads in his Avengers run, and not like end, but like actually some of the threads come together and something happens. And really, what I feel like
shit for like 2 years,
and it's still going. It's still going.
And all he did was dangle more threads in front. of us.
Now there's 1,000 Mephistos. Now there's 1,000 of them. So, all right, Loki episode.
You gotta think there's eventually going to be a big Mephisto thing that this all leads up to, but
and there'll be one good Mephisto who will join the Avengers and fuck it all up for the other one.
It is coming due though, for them to actually do shit with this Mephisto stuff.
Yeah. All right, Loki. Episode 3, Lamentis, shortest episode yet.
I'm cool with that though. I'm glad these episodes, vary in length, and when there's not as much to say, it's okay to be shorter.
Yep.
Yeah. We let the story be as long as it needs to be.
Definitely. Some cool character moments, fun dialogue, along with an amazing single shot action scene.
Oh yeah.
That I mean. Comparative to the fucking hallway scene in Daredevil or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, it would have been Daredevil.
It was perfect. Have you guys seen the movie Extraction?
No.
It's on Netflix. It has an epic single shot scene that you guys should check out. Probably maybe one of the best ever done. It's brilliant.
Have you ever seen the movie
this one was great.
Yeah, The Raid. Raid's a great movie.
The Raid is basically one giant action scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a fun episode. I really like the chemistry between Loki and Sylvie here.
Me too.
I don't know this actress's name, but she did a great job playing a Loki who's we can see like the broad similarities to our Loki, but still being a very different person, who had very different life circumstances and turned out quite differently than our Loki.
Yeah. That's very well done. But beyond that, there wasn't much else here. A lot of action, not much backstory, just a lot of cool character dialogue.
A lot of cool set pieces.
Dude, I was just going to talk about the set pieces. That did come out here. It was confirmed that Loki is at the very least bisexual, which fills in with every aspect of Loki that has ever lived or existed, including, his way back origin when he was initially worshipped by, people in actual mythology. He was banging horses, and his comic, backstory where he is, at the very least bisexual or, pansexual. But all of the color palettes that they use throughout the episode were hues that reflect the colors adopted by the bisexual community.
I got
blue,
it
pink,
was
and purple.
Amazing, and I watched it 3 times to make sure that I wasn't just
really
imagining
big,
that
Blade Runner vibe throughout this whole episode.
It did have that. Well, it had I think it had an overall alien sort of vibe, but it definitely borrowed from.
Also with the music going on, with the heavy synth.
Sure.
Yeah.
So overall, a great episode. But I don't know. I'm still having a little bit of trouble with this show dragging more than Falcon and Winter Soldier, and definitely WandaVision did.
This
it's a different show than those shows.
It is.
I mean, we should probably expect a show like Loki to have like undercurrents, right? Like Loki's like setting up like a long con or something. So I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of stuff that'll pan out towards the end of the series that we won't appreciate in the meantime.
Yeah, definitely. Any other comments on that?
I missed Mobius, but yeah, I still really like the
episode. I did miss Mobius as well.
Well, what about the big reveal?
Oh, that they're stranded on the planet?
No,
that the TVA are actually
are all variants.
I mean, that's not a big reveal, I think, but yeah, it was.
That was a reveal that I was sort of expecting to happen.
I think it feeds into Taylor's theory that he had last week about Mobius being
a Loki.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm sure we'll see a lot of consequences for that in the show, but it wasn't like an earth-shattering reveal. I don't think.
There aren't many episodes left, so awesome, man. It's awesome though. I love watching it. Like I said, I watched it 3 times, and I was
like,
a lot
of fun.
Real easy watch.
Yeah, easy watch. Food news.
Yummy.
Will you top last week's?
The Sweet and Snacks Expo went down last week in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's a lot of companies reveal snacks. I'm going to reveal the top 3 that I thought. Candy Pop is Sour Patch Kid popcorn.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I like
guess.
those things together. I'm a big fan of those things.
I could see that being palatable.
Yeah. Reese's Pieces Brownie Brittle.
That's a great idea.
This is
a
brilliant
awesome.
idea. Man, I want some of that shit right now. And then we've got 2 Pebbles candy bars. We got a white chocolate.
Want that right now. I am a sucker for some Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles and white chocolate candy bar. But they also have a chocolate one.
No, I would like to try that.
What? It's basically a Nestle Crunch, right?
It is.
It's the same shit.
I feel like I'd rather have the Fruity Pebbles on the white chocolate because at least those are like potentially complementary flavors, whereas the other one's just chocolate,
Exactly.
Chocolate on chocolate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, why not have the Fruity Pebbles in the chocolate?
Oh man, you sick fuck.
Yeah, it would be great,
Get the hell
David,
out.
if you could not suggest horrific things like that.
Get the hell out. But man, the Sour Patch Kids popcorn, man, I'm all over that shit. All right, man, we still got so much to do. Let's do the moment of destruction.
It's okay. We'll fly through this.
Yeah. I see. I don't have any of the images up though, bro.
Well, you do Back to the Future real quick.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to do the news?
Okay, yeah, we can do the news.
All right, because there's some dope news. But I gotta. All right, here it is. There is and this was just teased, a Transformers Jurassic Park crossover because
life finds a way.
I'm sure it's just going to be repaints.
Yeah, I'm sure this will just be a Hound repaint to look like the Jurassic Park Jeep. Maybe
that would be actually awesome, though.
Yeah, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get a Beast Wars Megatron repaint.
They'll look like Rexy.
Yeah, look like Rexy, and we'll get maybe a little tiny Jeff Goldblum to go in the back.
I would love that. Just give me the Jeff Goldblum to go in the back. That's all I want. We'll have more on that as we get it. Now, big movie news. Transformers.
Man, I don't know about this.
Rise of the Beasts.
I don't know.
Lamest title ever.
Yeah, the last Transformers movie was actually good. So I do have hope that this might be a good movie. But, just listening to the premise, it still feels like they have no real regard when they're writing this for like actual Transformers mythology or anything that's going on.
Yeah, just
they never have.
Yeah, they're just mashing shit together is what they're doing. And this time they're mashing Beast Wars together because the 90s is cool now.
Exactly, dude. It's all nostalgia as a genre. I said it for years. So this is going to be set in the 90s. Hip hop is part of the culture. The director has said that. You're going to feel Brooklyn. Optimus Prime will be in. Will be the
nothing
film.
says Beast Wars like Brooklyn.
I know. I know, right?
Also Peru.
Oh,
right?
that would be so dope if Optimus Prime tries to climb the Empire State Building.
Oh, man, they're gonna do it. Oh, dude, I wish you would have never said that because they're gonna fucking do that nonsense.
Yeah. But Adam's right that if they wanted to actually do Beast Wars, wouldn't it have to be like caveman era Earth or something like that?
It would be. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want the same thing that I've already gotten in 2 other now different medias. There's been.
I got you. I understand, but I also just with the track record of these Transformers movies, if it's going to be anything like the other ones, these Beast Wars characters will just be like the Dinobots and whatever that Dinobot one
like
was.
they've already had in the Bay movie.
Yeah, they'll just show up for the last 10 minutes of the movie in their beast
stupid.
forms and for one fight scene and then fuck off.
That's always a balancing act you want to hit, though, right? You don't want to just do the same thing exactly, but you also want to, if you're going to change them like they did with the Dinobots there, why even use them?
Exactly. Why even use them? I don't know, man. I don't know. Scourge is going to be the villain. Optimus Prime is going to be voiced by Peter Cullen again. Peter Cullen is going to do Optimus Prime until he dies, of course. Optimus Primal has been confirmed, the gorilla leader. Other Maximals and Predacons are going to be in this thing. No other shit has been announced. Anthony Ramos, who we were just talking about it in the pre-show, was in The Heights. He was in The Heights. He's going to play Noah, who is a military veteran and electronics whiz. It's also got another actress whose last name is Fishback. I think her name is Monique Fishback. She is an intelligent artifact researcher. So obviously what they're going to do is they're going to go to Peru.
Yeah,
they're going to find a fucking artifact. They're going to bring it back to New York because that's what colonizers do.
Yes.
And then what? And then it's going to wreak havoc all over New York City.
And then Beast Wars all over New York. Yeah.
Basically, it's the whole Allspark scene in the city.
But it's more than that because this has already been a thing that's happened. All right. Anytime they want to do a Transformers movie that's somehow out of the context of what they already have established, it just happens and Optimus Prime tells a story. Oh, yeah. I remember that time that happened. I should have told y'all about that.
I'm very angry about
this thing. Unicron didn't exist until he did, and then Optimus Prime's like, "Oh yeah, Unicron."
And that's gonna happen this time when they're in Peru. Continuity he's gonna be like, I remember that time back then in Beast Wars time, and then he'll go back in time to Peru, and we'll see all the Beast Wars characters.
Oh, and he'll happen to be there, or some other bot.
The continuity for these movies is a clusterfuck. It's always been a clusterfuck. They're making it up as they go, and yeah, they probably should just nuke it and start over if they're gonna keep making these movies.
Nuke it and start over, dude, or add the G.I. Joe and Mask and that sort of shit into it.
I will say though that this one doesn't have anything to do with Michael Bay, right? Like Michael Bay's not involved.
Hopefully,
so I don't think does give it a glimmer of hope for this actually being at least an entertaining movie. You know?
I don't think he's hands. No, all right, first of all, Michael Bay fucked Transformers, but his movies are entertaining. All right.
Okay, entertaining was the wrong word to use. Okay,
if you go into Transformers not knowing anything about the 80s or the Greatest Generation, you are going to have a great time. You're not going to have any beef at all with those movies because they're explosion fests.
The first one, I'll give you that, but the second movie was, even if I don't know anything about Transformers, it starts eating its own tail from a continuity just from one movie ago.
It does. Know? You're right.
Even if there's no like greater context, they're still stupid after the second one. You know?
Yeah. But I'm still gonna see it. So to hell with it. Transformers number 31. Brian Ruckley, Anna Malkova, Angel Hernandez.
So I came into this as sort of a reboot, not a reboot, but like a next phase of Transformers.
Like it took a breath.
Right, because this is 40 cycles in the future, which I guess is like a little bit over a month into the future or
it's
whatever.
Like a month ago, yeah. A kilocycle is somehow a year, and a mega cycle is like 1,000 years.
Yeah, so like I was willing to give this, a shot. Maybe now we're in the war. Maybe this will be a little bit better. And if this was a little bit better, I did kind of like it.
I did not.
So mainly what this issue was Jumpstream. Was getting her powers boosted by Perceptor, and her power is to jump around. I really like that. Go back to that story so far. They should do that every issue instead of the panel layout that they do, because that tells me a lot more.
This says a lot more.
Yeah,
I agree. I hated Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus's handshake here. Just shake hands. Yeah. You don't have to make it a weird alien thing. That's fucking stupid.
Just shake hands. But Jumpstream is basically Nightcrawler. And they're trying to make her powers to where she can take people and things along with her also when she jumps to places.
Yeah.
But it fucks up, and she just starts jumping randomly across the place, and they use it as an excuse to give us a status update on pretty much every major character. And then
she jumps around and just happens to visit everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she happens to jump universes, and she jumps to a universe where Exarchon, or whatever his name is,
won the war.
Won the three-spark war. Yeah.
Okay. What happened was we had 30 plus issues of Brian Ruckley building up to fucking nothing, and it's all been ignored. So we can build up again. Sorry, this is lame, dude. This book made me want to hate Transformers. This was dope. Oh, thank the 13. I love any mention of the 13.
Me too, man.
But yeah, this book was lame. I hated it. Yeah, man. I was so frustrated after reading this because, again, 30 issues of building up just so we can get pushed off of a fucking cliff, and none of it matters. None of it matters.
Pretty much.
What's Cyclonus doing?
Nothing.
Exactly. Transformers Back to the Future #4. Kevin Scott wants Samu did a dope cover. Man, where is that cover? Let me find it, man, because you guys are going to love this shit.
We'll keep talking about it while you're finding it.
Here's the cover B. It reminded me of the old Iron Manual book. Oh, look at that. Phil Murphy did this. Love that, dude. Just great. But I love all of these like new bots. Like, see, look, this is the clock tower. It's a big fucking Decepticon. See this little robot here, shooting him in the air? That's the hoverboard. Oh, man, that's rad. Bumblebee gets just blasted. I mean, oh, man, it's rad, dude. It's just really, really good. And as soon as B got blasted, they were going to reset the timeline. Some great artwork, some great panel work. Did
they ever work in Doc Brown's train as like a transformer or something?
No, but oh my gosh, we talked about how perfect. There's a bot called Astro Train.
Hey, you got to leave some material for the sequel, Taylor.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad.
His new Earthrise figure, his latest one, is technically a triple changer, although his spaceship mode kind of sucks. But it would work perfectly for the time train, dude. Yeah, and it is building up, or at least teasing a follow-up. The truck, the famous black, off-road or whatever truck that Marty gets, has the Decepticon face on the front. So, man, all's well that ends well, but this wasn't the best issue of the series, but man, this is the best Transformers comic right now. It's fun. It's just cool, dude. It's just fucking cool. All right. That's it. Adam didn't read that shit.
No.
Let's do top 3. You're going way over. At least we got shit to talk about.
This really needs to be a lightning round here.
Yeah, I will fly through my top 3.
Go ahead, Adam.
Okay, well, I'll do my honorable mentions really quick. Heroes Return #1 was fun, or whatever.
Nice.
Infinite Frontier #1. It was written well. The art was cool. I just don't give a shit about another Crisis right now.
Yeah,
but like I said, it was still written and drawn well. My actual number 3 is going to be Wolverine #13.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Already talked about it.
Already talked about it. It was a fun X-Force issue.
Good choice.
Like Beast being a bastard.
I like Bastard Beast too, and I like how he's torn, or how at least I'm torn, a little bit. I know he's doing bad things, but all nations do bad things, and they kind of need people to do bad things.
I liked how he got bitch slapped.
Yeah,
like
no shit.
Yeah,
I like how Sage fixed it all, yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. David.
All right.
Lightning
round. Honorable mentions. Sword #6. I don't follow a lot of X-Men stuff, but this was actually a really fun read.
Nice.
Heroes Reborn, just like we said, big slugfest. Everything kind of gets reset. The biggest revelation is the Council of Red. Chariot #4.
That's your honorable mention?
Yeah.
That's actually my number 3.
She basically we get
So, yeah,
a montage. But my actual number 3 is going to be Way of X #3.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we already talked about that too. Sweet choice. Sweet. We're flying through these.
Yeah.
Taylor. Fly through yours.
Honorable mentions, Wolverine #13 and Way of X #3. We already talked about them. Way of X especially enjoyed like the trippy ass visuals from Legion facilitating the mind sex and all that. My number 3
Mind sex is dope. I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you get away with saying mind sex and then not comment.
That's the
what else would you call it?
I know. That's perfect. It's perfect. I want to have mind sex. That sounds awesome.
Mind sex has a pedigree in comics. I mean, the the Swamp Thing mind sex thing is the most
it's
famous
like
scenes in comics.
Issue,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. But my number 3 is going to be Heroes Return, rather, number 1. It was a dumb, big fight, but it was fun. It was well illustrated by Ed McGuinness. I really enjoyed all the matchups and the Avengers overcoming them and everything. So yeah, it was fun. That's all there really is to say about it.
Cool. Honorable mentions: Stray Dogs number 5. I have to mention this book, Tony Fleeks.
I'll mention it later.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
This is on your top 3.
Yep.
Wonderful. Black Hammer Reborn number 1. Jeff Lemire and Kate Niarski.
That's my number 2.
We'll talk about that then in a minute. Vinyl number 1. I wanted to mention it's a debut over at Image Comics from Doug Wagner and Daniel
That is
Hilliard.
actually my number 1.
Awesome. My number 3 is Chariot number 4, Brian Hill and Priscilla Petraeus. This is a book about a secret agent who unintentionally becomes the artificial intelligence of a super secret spy car. And years after the 80s, at her peak, she's reactivated. She's helping this guy whose son has been kidnapped by some baddies. But now it appears
it's not just a baddie. It's the actual woman who is now the AI's sister.
Yeah, the AI sister. That's right. Sorry. This book has had some weird pacing, but it's finally catching up with itself. It has this cool Matrix moment where the artificial intelligence is able to interface with the driver and sort of train him.
Yeah,
but she's also manipulating him. Yeah. And his old lady, his real world life, wife, his real world wife. Man, it's really caught up with itself. David's mentioned it several times. And I think I've even had it as an honorable mention once or twice. But this issue really, pulled it away. And yeah, this is a damn good series.
It was a good series. And we basically get kind of like a montage series in here where the AI is training the guy a la Matrix style.
Yeah.
Neo versus Morpheus in kung fu fighting and all that.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Yeah. Just make him the killer that he needs to be to fight for his sister.
And time happens differently. So they have plenty of time to do all their love making and fighting training.
Yeah.
So, great issue finally caught up with itself.
But yeah, she can't be human anymore, but in there she's definitely human.
Yeah, but she's manipulating. So
yeah, she is manipulating everything.
She's a bad guy too. That's finally come to the surface for sure. She's also sort of an antagonist in this. So
but she's had 30 drama. She's had 30 years to think about it, about basically being trapped in her own personal hell.
Yeah. Cool, Adam.
All right, my number 2 is going to be Sword number 6.
Excellent.
I mean,
number 1 for me.
Yep,
yeah,
Storm is the Legion of Soul. That's all you got to say.
Yeah, that's my number 1 as well. Brilliant issue. Still my favorite X book right now, and there are so many good ones.
Yeah.
So that.
Al Ewing does great work with a lot of different characters. His Doom is really good. I liked his Captain America. I continue to love his brand, and Magneto and Scarlet Witch. I'm glad he didn't murder her because that ended up being a really sweet scene.
You wouldn't have blamed him though if he did. You wouldn't have blamed him.
I would have. I mean, it's his own kid.
I don't know. Dude,
I don't know. Maybe
Mutant first, man. Mutant first. It's not his kid. Holy shit! That's the whole point.
For all intents and purposes, they spent most of their lives thinking that they were. So it's effectively the same thing.
I know.
Fuck you, Gomer. You piece of shit.
It's like silver spoons, man.
Anyway, Adam's impatient. Let's keep going.
Yeah, Dave. Number 2.
Black Hammer Reborn number 1.
Man, this was a great issue, dude.
It was. It kind of did a little bit of a time jump. Lucy.
Oh, it definitely did a time jump.
Yeah, it definitely does a time jump. But Lucy Weber pretty much is recounting the events of the attack on the city that teleports her father and the other heroes to the farm. When she arrives on the farm, she picks up the hammer, becomes a new Black Hammer.
Well, that's already all happened.
That's all right. That she's recounting all of this, and then we get to this time jump where she is a mother with a teenage daughter and a 10-year-old son, and her husband is cheating on her. Yeah. And she's like, I promised myself I wouldn't pick up the hammer again, but I think the world's going to need me.
Yeah. So it basically is kind of one of those books where it's trying to show just how hard it is to be an actual person and how easy it is to be a hero. because she's failing as a mother. Her daughter, her daughter resents her. Her son won't talk to her. Her husband's cheating on her. She is a terrible mother, but she's a really, really good Black Hammer.
Yep.
So it's one of those sort of meta, real world sort of things. So cool, dope issue though. It's Jeff Lemire and Caitlin Yarsky is actually doing the art in this. She is brilliant.
Never go wrong with Jeff Lemire.
Yeah. Good choice for number 2.
Thank you.
So Taylor, your number 1 was Sword.
My number 1 was Sword. Yeah.
My number 2 goes right along with that. I don't think you can have one without the other this week. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, this was my number 2.
Awesome. Oh wait, so you're up for number 2.
Yeah,
well, I'm done now, but this is my number 2 as well. Let's talk about it together.
Dude, we almost had the exact same books on our list this week. That's pretty dope. Did you read Gamma Flight?
I did.
I did not read Gamma Flight. No.
Bad.
It wasn't great.
It was bad, dude.
They go to rescue that
I did
Gamma thing. The only big revelation is that Scar showed up.
Yeah, Scar showed up.
Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, on to this.
Yeah, great issue. I love how Nova and Star-Lord are going to the meeting that we see them at in Sword. Right? And then they go back and fucking Nova and Magneto have this dope fight. So great. But then they have this really cool kind of poignant talk, about how things have changed and how things are changing and how the future
kind of
is
meta
unknown.
about comics in general, right? About how there's more morally gray elements to this, and people who were especially in the past, his characters were just one-dimensional cartoonish villains, which it's easy to forget that that's how Magneto started out.
Oh, for sure.
Get them a lot more complexity and depth to them.
He was a mustache twirling just douchebag.
His first appearance was I'm going to kill you all for evil's sake.
It's really like that. Yeah. But I like this how they show Rocket and the gang waiting on Dormammu to hatch from the ego egg. And they're like, oh, shit, y'all hear about Earth? They're going to fix the economy. I mean, this was literally a Hellfire Gala tie-in. That's the only reason it's my number 2.
It really was basically getting 2 copies of the same, or 2 issues of the same book this week. They were all in each other's business this week.
I loved it. I want more of that, dude. I want more cohesion in my fucking shared comic book universes. I don't think that's a lot to ask. I think that's the point.
It's easier here because it's one writer doing both books, but yeah.
Well, X-Men is doing it across multiple books because they got ahead of X. They got ahead of X. So yeah, that's my number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy number 15, and Taylor's. My number 1 was Sword. Taylor's number 1 was Sword. I think David's number 1 was Sword as well.
No, Sword was an honorable mention.
Oh, my bad. So we're up to Adam, I think, for number 1.
My number 1 is Stray Dogs number 5.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, it is a great book. This is the last issue of it, so the trade should be coming out soon. If you haven't read it, you should pick it up.
Pick it up.
Yeah, it is a fantastic book. It's a murder mystery, but with dogs. So the whole hook has been this memory thing with dogs, because dogs don't really have a long-term memory. They just kind of have a short-term what's going on right now.
Yeah. But one of the dogs smells her former owner's scarf, and it triggers.
Right.
And the whole group of dogs realize that they are merely trophies of a serial killer. The serial killer, when he murders somebody, he takes their dog and adopts it. So all these dogs sort of figure out that they're all their parents were victims of this.
This is the issue where the shit hits the fan. I do have some problems with it. Like it is a little unrealistic that if a whole herd of dogs are running toward an interstate with a man with a shotgun chasing them, I'm pretty sure somebody would stop. A dog wouldn't have to run out into the middle of the road.
I don't remember the road being that busy.
I don't remember the road being that busy either. But other than that, the art is fantastic.
Oh, Trish Forstner's art in this, it's like Don fucking Bluth.
It is fantastic. And just the way they tell the story is interesting. So definitely worth picking up in trade.
I like there's a deeper meaning here in terms of human trauma. Because sometimes, in a lot of cases, when humans suffer trauma, PTSD or something like that, they will sort of push it down and just as
compartmentalize it.
Yeah, they'll compartmentalize it in a way where their brain is actually trying to protect itself from that trauma, where they just don't remember it. They forget it. And this sort of does that, shows that, because sometimes things can just trigger it. and it's just your trauma's back, even after you've healed. And this sort of captures that in a unique way with, Don Bluth meets Silence of the Lambs. Dude, this book is a surprise hit for me. Might be one of the best of the year.
Mm-hmm. It's getting
great.
A sequel series coming out at some point. So.
Oh, really? They're doing another one?
Yeah, they announced it at the end of the back.
I didn't even go that far. I got to the end where the dog cop, and I was like, "Oh, fuck that cop."
Stray Dogs Dog Days.
Oh, cool.
They haven't announced a date yet, but
I didn't like the cop dog. I didn't
like the cop dog either.
Anyway, go ahead. Number 1, Dave.
Number 1, vinyl number 1.
Okay, solid choice. But this book is fucking weird.
It is weird. I think this fella on the cover here, his name is weird. Walter, and I think he's a serial killer that gets triggered by music.
He's not a serial killer who gets triggered by music. He's a serial killer who just so happens to be into music.
Oh, so he's American Psycho.
Exactly. And he plays music.
Well, he plays like one particular song.
Exactly. Wherever he's murdering people, he
Phil
plays
Collins.
that song while he's doing their thing.
Genesis.
So, dude, you want me to explain this to do the nutshell elevator pitch?
The cops are investigating him, and apparently the cop investigating him has a daughter in a cult. The cult leader's son is trying to create an heir, and all the girls that he basically gets with die. So they've taken they've taken the cop's daughter and said that she's going to be the next one unless the cop comes with the cult. And Walter's like, "This is my friend, and you can't take my friend." And Walter comes and basically is going to slaughter the cult.
Yeah. The FBI agent who goes to visit Walter, who wants information, sort of like Silence of the Lambs. He doesn't think Walter did it, I don't think. Walter's old as fuck. He don't think Walter actually murdered anybody. He just wants to go to him for information. And then this cult kidnaps the FBI agent. It's almost too weird to make my list. You know what I mean? It was fucking weird, dude.
It's that weirdness that I love.
Yeah. Have you ever read Plastic?
It's been a while.
Plastic is by the same creative team. Plastic is about a guy who was in love with his
blow-up doll. And they basically go on a spree.
They basically go on a spree. But he ends up being like a weird anti-hero at the end.
Yeah, but this had some really good pacing when Walter shows up to the cult's compound.
Yeah.
At the end where like he's just killing these guys and it's just flashes of light and he is just gutting them.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It has something to do with the teddy bear mask too. That's an alternate cover though.
Yeah. Excellent choice for number 1. It was just too weird. It'll probably find itself, a little bit better.
I thought, like I said, it's that level of weirdness that I just love.
Yeah. No, it's a good pick. Solid pick, dude. Really solid. Taylor already mentioned, I think, that Sword number 6 was his number 1 pick, and it was mine as well. The only reason Guardians of the Galaxy didn't make number 1 for me is because it didn't have this little Hellfire Gala logo on it. And it fucking should have. I'm just really happy that I just happened to be also picking up Guardians of the Galaxy because I would have been really upset otherwise. You know what I mean?
It practically was a Hellfire Gala tie-in.
It was. It just didn't have the stamp on it.
I'm going to have to go back and find it.
Yeah, it's oh man. Because Last Annihilation is coming up, I'm definitely on board for that for the duration. But thanks for listening, everybody. Go to outrightgeeky.com to check out everything we do. We got shows going all fucking week long. Definitely check back all the times. We're going to do another show tomorrow night doing previews. Thank you, everybody, for listening. But most of all, thanks to these jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Anytime.
We're going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Man, I had to fly through it there, man. Next week will be easier, man. No heroes born.
We don't have as many set pieces.